All right, for this week, we're going to start talking about different photography composition tricks. And the first thing I want you to know about is the rule of thirds. I'm going to send you to this website right here, and I'd love for you to read all this content. But basically, the rule of thirds more or less involves looking at the thing that you're going to shoot a photograph of and trying to place your central focus point at one of these four spots. They call it the rule of thirds because you divide the page into thirds. From top to bottom, and then you just divide it into thirds from left to right. And with those dividing lines in place, you're finding these spots to put the focal point. So if you wanted to just take a look at the rule of thirds in general, you could type in rule of thirds photography into any kind of search, and you can see that when people use the rule of thirds, they tend to put the central focus point at one of those lines. They tend to make something interesting happen at one of these intersections. It's a little more interesting to use the rule of thirds than to center things, and that's what today's all about. Like, these folks are centered. If we cropped the picture just a little bit and moved them over, then they would be adhering to the rule of thirds. I'm going to take a photograph in just a minute and show you the difference between centering and rule of thirds placement. This is a picture I took at an olive oil farm in Spain, and I went ahead and adjusted it so you can see what it looks like when the old man is centered. So he's centered in the photograph here. Now, when I redo that as a rule of thirds photo, you can see I've kind of placed him off center, and it's a little more interesting. It's a little more artistic. So centered, rule of thirds. And that's kind of what I'm looking for today, the difference between centered and rule of thirds. What I'm going to share with you is a couple of tutorials. I went ahead and wrote the links down, but they're in the assignment. This is actually how to do on an Android, how to crop a picture. This is how to crop a picture on an iPhone. What I want you to do is take photographs, take a photograph of something and then crop it centered and crop it with rule of thirds. That's going to be necessary for your assignment, your written assignment this week. Make sure that you work through and look at this content. If you're struggling with how to crop a picture, I'm going to put those two links to YouTube tutorials up for you, and there will be a Google form where you have to attach some photos. So if you are unable to attach photos to a Google form, remember that you can send me your pictures either in an email or you can text them to me. This is that phone number I have set up just for text messages, okay? So make sure if you do send me the pictures outside of the Google form in some way that you make sure to put your name on that text message or that email, just in case I don't see who it is. Other than that, take a picture, take it centered, take it rule of thirds, crop it so that you can see it in both directions, and then you'll have a discussion question to talk about. Also, I'm going to put up a link to a TED Talk that I think is particularly pretty. Nice photographs that you can look at there. So that's it for this week, okay? We're going to take it just a little bit easier from here on in because we have been told to make less assignments, so I'm trying to hold up my end of that bargain. I hope you guys are doing okay.